Okay, guys, it's Chris Kane here, Vapes for Clash King. I just want to, I can't even talk. I want to touch up on some things about what's going on with the vaping community and vaping situation right now. Um, okay, so I've been vaping off and on ever since 2013, maybe 2012. My first setup is like an Ego, and then I end up going to the higher end. Anyways, I've been smoke free ever since September 4th of 2016, and I used to smoke about 3 to 4 packs a day of Rollies, which is non-filtered. Um, Let me just stop there for a second and explain why I'm putting this video out there, which a lot of people already might know, then other people might not know. All right, now they're talking about banning flavors off of e-liquid, and except for the tobacco and all that other stuff, but that isn't 100% the reason why they're trying to ban flavors. Um, They say that the reason why they're banning flavors is because it's targeted to youth. Okay, if it's so targeted to youth, then instead of banning it, because if you're going to ban it, they're going to get away one way or another. Number two, banning it isn't a big old case. Okay, there's some alcohol out there, and I also do know that there are some tobacco products out there that could be appealing to kids and all that other good stuff. My other part of the story is they know about the causes and health of smoking and alcohol and all that. They're not willing to ban it. Where the hell were you guys? Instead of trying to ban vaping, where the hell were you guys when I was 14, 15 years old in high school going to Smoker's Corner? You don't give a fuck about us. All you give a fuck about is your money. Okay? Excuse my French, but I'm pissed off because they're trying to take away stuff, which is our rights, for some bullshit that is either true or not true. Popcorn lung is bullshit. Okay, I haven't felt this good, like my health, my breathing, everything, ever since the day before I started smoking, to begin with. Yes, I am a chain smoker, but I'm also going down on my nicotine too. Right now I'm at a 3. By sometime next week I'm going to be doing 1.5, and then a couple weeks after that I'm going to go be doing 0. My problem is get the facts right. It doesn't matter if you put a ban on vaping or whatever you put a ban on. If it was the other way around, with, like, let's just say there was no such thing as vaping, but cigarettes kills people every damn day. My birth father, he passed away of COPD due to smoking. And if he didn't, the damage was probably already done. But I'm almost pretty sure that if he didn't listen to the media, listen to this fake news shit, and putting fake researchers on the internet about vaping, he'd have probably been more inclined to vape, which means he would possibly still be alive today. I made a promise to my great-grandmother, my grandmother, which passed away a couple years. I told her, I made her a promise. I promised her at her funeral, I promised her that I was going to quit smoking. Took me a little bit to quit smoking because there's a lot to it. Still new stuff going around and stuff like that. Okay. Now, if the flavor does go on ban starting next month, I'm going to be starting to make my own e-liquid so I can get stocked up on that. Help us some people out that do vape that can't buy any other vaping stuff because of their shop slows down or whatever the case may be. Now, would I be selling it? No, because that's against the law. But ban hits, I'm still going to be vaping because I'm not going to go back to your traditional combustible cigarettes. I'm sorry, I ain't. Just because the United States government or whoever is saying this shit, it's going to come out sooner or later that they've been lying. Okay, so I just took some sleeping pills. I'm getting kind of groggy, so I do apologize. Another thing I want to tip on here too is I would like to know, like, what's such a, like, number one, we had no health issues with vaping until like a couple months ago. No deaths, none of this, none of that. Everything was happy-go-lucky. We even did what the FDA wanted us to do. And it still wasn't good enough. It's like they tell you to jump this high, and then you jump even higher, and it wasn't good enough. They want you to even jump higher than what they already told you. But my biggest problem is if kids don't smoke, yeah, they're right. You're right. They shouldn't be smoking. I mean, vaping. If my son gets old enough and is like 16, and he tells me, "Hey, Dad, I want to smoke," I'd be like, "Well, what's going on?" And he told me, and I'm like, "Well, no child of mine's going to be smoking. I mean, I don't care if you're 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 years old. You're my son. And not the government's. And I will buy him his first setup. I know I'm kind of screwing it up right here, right now. But this is my child, not the government's. Okay? They're not willing to ban a multi-billion-dollar company or companies because they have had a lot of deaths on that to begin with. Testing has even proven it. Okay? And that's been going on as long as smoking's been around. I mean, have you guys ever heard of a few years ago, like I want to say 2013, 2014, nobody was being this or that, like thinking, nobody was back then was thinking, oh, it's going to do this, it's going to do that. Alright, now let's get our, don't really like calling vaping stuff this, but let's get our chemicals together here and balance them out. Okay, toothbrush, in other words, toothpaste, has vegetable glycerin and propylene glycol. Also, and it also has artificial flavorings. Shampoos and conditioners have the same thing. Don't believe me? Look at the back of your bottle. Even Jell-O has vegetable glycerin in it. Everything that they're using, everything we use for vaping is food grade. Or used in hospitals, for instance. I know this for a fact. My wife used to work at a nursing home. I've talked to other people about the same situation. They told me it's accurate. But about 75 to 85% of the stuff that we use in our juices are used in inhalers, rescue inhalers, just stuff, the original stuff that they use in hospitals. Okay? And they keep on saying, well, if you do this stuff to VG or PG and inhale it, it's not good. Well, it's kind of the same way if you're telling us that, well, we can't make Jello. Because basically you're doing the same darn thing, except not on a setup and not dripping it on here. Taking our fucking, taking our flavors away from us and just giving us tobacco. That's kind of screwed up. You guys are going to put people out of business, shut places down, and that ain't right. I mean, I'm a poor motherfucker, okay? So in other words, I'm thankful for what I do have. My whole point on this story is don't believe the social media. Don't believe the news. Don't believe this or that. Believe in somebody that has actually been there. Okay, I was watching a video the other day of the guy was named Dash Vapes. And he showed a video of a testing of what vape does to a mouse or lab rats, basically. And what it is I seen the video and I saw the lady drop some droplets. Not vape or put a vape mask over it, but the liquid drops that we get from our e-liquid bottles to put on our stuff. She just drips it right there. And it even says on the bottle, keep away from children and pets. If consumed, reach out to your nearest hospital and contact the poison control. Now, my biggest problem my biggest problem has to do with they are basically throwing it to kids. And if it's the kids that you're thinking that you got to be worried about, put more restrictions on it. Alright? If there's a person not carding an ID, then they need to put that in a stand and have people come in and do an investigation. Don't just shut it all off, because, you know, that's how the black market became already as it is. That's how all these deaths are popping up, is because it's what it is synthetic marijuana, THC, which is black marketed THC. And one of the main ingredients in there is vitamin E, which is not good for you, so I heard. So my biggest concern is, why now are you guys going to start doing this shit when you guys haven't got, because I was buying cigarettes at like 13 and I didn't get carded, nobody did anything about it. The only thing you guys did is tobacco products over a minor or whatever. I don't even remember what that was called, but I got the ticket for holding stuff that I'm not supposed to, like marijuana or crack or whatever. Also, the other point is, when it boils down to THC is this. It's identical to K2, which it's marijuana, but it's laced with something. Okay, you can have a lot of withdrawals, or in other words, side effects, fatal. and all the other stuff. And that's the same exact stuff that you're getting in these TCH cartridges from the black market. You're not getting what you think you're getting. So speak up the people that are talking about how bad vaping is, and we need to really seriously make a petition, not so much with the courthouse, but make a petition to where you don't got to vote, but the vapors' opinions matter. And, you know, again, it does piss me off that they're letting these companies that know about the risks of smoking or drinking or what the case may be, they know the risks, but they're not willing to do anything about it. Okay? That goes with the same thing with vaping. But they're going and just going and throwing it away, so when they completely ban it, the FDA and all these other cigarette corporations can actually be making more money than what they are now. Because with us people quitting smoking and making the switch from that to vaping, they're losing out. I mean, it just really ticks me off that they want to get all over us about how vaping is, and they're also saying it in a bad term. They're not going to go say, oh, this or that. And I talked to a doctor the other day, and she's like, I don't remember exactly what she said, but she's like, well, it's not good for you if you put it in your system. And I'm like, yeah, well, nothing is better than oxygen. She's like, well, there you go. Take oxygen. And I'm like, well, lost our daughter December 6th of last year. Lost my wife's brother-in-law to suicide December 28th. And then I lost my birth father January 1st. So it's going to take some time. That's kind of the reason why I'm trying to go to zero, because it's kind of the plan that I was going to do after we had Molly, is I was going to go to the zero. But then we lost Molly, and then the depression started kicking my ass, and I ended up going all the way up to 12 to 18 net. My whole point on these folks is vapors have to stick together. Don't give up. If you do vape and use vote, do it. But I will not go and vote, put a vote in, or talk to somebody and because I hate Donald Trump.